Gosh. Before I start this video, I'm hungry here. Alright, let's start this video. Hello everyone, Master, and today we are back playing Red Embrace Hollywood. Now, last time there was like some war going on. Well, there's like some war going on. Some man named Heath came to my apartment. Then we are now sleeping. Sharks. 12:01. I've been waiting 3 hours for this call, anxiously pacing in my room. I pick up the phone before the third ring, readying myself for Marcus's poetic drawl. Hello to our value Hollywood Heights customer. But instead, a boisterous, theatrical voice boomed at me to the receiver. Are you paying too much for your car insurance? We're offering a very special deal just for Hollywood Heights Platinum Rewards members. I think you have the wrong number. Hang up. I slammed the phone back down on its base, unamused. But a few seconds later, I'm starting to pick up the phone. I see my efforts to put your nerves at ease are unappreciated, brother, and I might be disappointed. Oh crap! Sorry about that. The music's really loud. Down to our business for tonight, however. The place you're to go is July Company Parking, an abandoned garage downtown. That is where the parties of our doomed rendezvous are meeting. You'll need to find Randal and get him to call off negotiations. Do you follow me thus far, brother? Yeah, continue. Performance anxiety is kicking in. Just think about something besides the fact that it's win or die tonight, and I believe you'll be just fine. No, I won't. Now listen carefully, because here comes the best part. There's a knife that Randal loves very, very much. Why, he loves that blade as much as Lot's daughters love their daddy. If he thinks someone stole it, it'll drive him completely wild and put him in a very unprofessional mood. I heard Marcus inhaling sharply on the other end of the line, like someone preparing to gleefully deliver news. And that knife just so happens to be waiting for you at the hotel's front desk. You'll take that knife, show it to Randal, and pretend you took it off a Golgotha who wanted to drive a hard bargain with it. That's sure to ruin negotiations. I rather doubt Randal would mistake you for one of his unwashed lackeys, but Shari says he'll be seeing it too much red to care. God, I'm ready to go. Just don't sketch your damn gas station sushi, but okay. I have a really bad feeling about this. Good, if you didn't, I'd be far more worried for you. Now, once you finish up, return to the hotel bearing all your good tidings. I have faith in you, Max. Then again, I also have faith in Jack Kennedy. Wait, that's freaking Max's last name. Wait, so Max has a brother? That's freaking Max's last name in the comic as well. So maybe don't call yourself the Messiah just yet. Click. It was sink or swim then. I didn't have the first idea of what to expect, and that terrified me, but if I survived so far in Hollywood among the living, then I find a way to do it among the dead. After picking up the knife from the front desk, I left the hotel and skulked out onto the street. July Company Parking. I vaguely remember seeing that sign before, at least, so I had some idea of where to go. Stealing my nerves, I set out the garage's directions, trying to avoid eye contact with any late night passers-by. But as I walked, I started to feel the same aching hunger I felt last night. It was just a dull pain at first, but it quickly grew stronger, gnawing at me from the inside. I couldn't focus on anything else. Before I entered the parking garage, I had to find blood to save myself, or else the pressure would snap me. Dang it! That was probably why the fridge has 3 blood packs, not just one. Just then, my heightened senses picked up a scent. Down the alley, the scent of a mortal. Alone. There was no one else nearby, which meant I could feed on them if I wanted to. The pain was getting worse. My blood ached, my head spun, and the whole world pulsed in front of me. I need to resist. I couldn't give in. I was a human, not an animal. How can I just sink my fangs into someone living being like prey? Also, I tried to tell myself. The hunger kept growing. If I drank just a little bit, they wouldn't be hurt, right? They wouldn't be doing anything cruel. Just one small taste. Oh no. I slipped into the alley, pulled out like a magnet towards that wonderful scent. It didn't take long before I caught the sight of the source. Oh, the random person. The young man let out a gasp when I stalked up to him. He's been taking a leak. Since this is family friendly, so he's been taking a leak behind the dumpster, but quickly zipped himself up and cleared his throat. Hello? Can I help you with something? I'm just on my way home from work. His voice trembled. This was the first time someone has ever really been afraid of me. But the only thing I could concentrate on was the smell of his blood. Suddenly the most delicious scent in the world. Don't worry, I'm not gonna mug you. That's relief. His nervous laughter echoed in the alleyway. I took a step towards him slowly. He stayed in place, but I could see his whole body tensing up, getting ready to turn and bolt. Another step, and another, until he was only a foot or 2 away. Shh. Pull him into my arms. Crap, I had no choice. I had to bite him. Oh Lord, I thought I was gonna like avoid that. No, they had to force me. I saved already. Shh, hey, come here, just for a minute. Pull him into my arms. You can't run away because you don't want. I don't know. It's so hard. Like, that's the problem. I don't want to be the monster in this game. I really don't. Because you don't want to. What do you? His eyes shot wide. I was right, of course. Oh gosh, Max, no. Oh no, I have no choice. I can't even resist the hunger. My arms coiled about him, and I leaned in to drag my tongue along his slender throat. For a split second, I caught something strange. A pair of bitter green eyes. Then they vanished, and all I could think about was my burning hunger. I'm sorry. With a shuddering breath, he closed his eyes, weakly clutching my shirt. My lips met the side of his neck, fangs extending. I pressed them into his flesh. Oh, Max. Oh, no. Okay. I've been trying to avoid this, like, at all. I don't want to kill anybody. I don't want to kill, like, any human or vampire at all. Ugh. And sunk them in. Okay. Hot blood flooded onto my tongue, down my throat, sending sparks of life into my dead body. It was pure bliss. Not like food, not even like a buzz. It was a high and delicious shock that ran through me and lifted me up. The blood pack from last night couldn't even compare. It was like tasting ambrosia after licking dirt off the ground. But it wasn't just the taste that made the moment euphoric. It was the experience, the predatory feeling of holding this mortal who's squirming with pleasure as I fed from him. The faint whimpers leaking out from beneath my fans, soft and sweet. Why was it so unnervingly satisfying? Slowly, but his body grew limp in my arms, lightly trembling chest rising and falling unevenly. I pulled back, licking my lips. I almost got carried away and drunk too much. It was so hard to help myself. The young man was still slumped in my arms, peacefully unconscious. I could still feel his heart beating, and his skin didn't look too pale. He'd wake up before long, so I hoped. But I couldn't waste any more time. I need to head towards the garage to catch the meeting before it ended, so I decided to carry him somewhere. This was LA at night, and leaving an unconscious guy lying in the alley was probably the only step away from manslaughter. Funny how this boy was more in danger from his fellow man than from a monster like me. Grabbing him under his arms, I dragged his ragdoll body through the shadows, searching the nearby buildings for a safe place to leave him. It wasn't long before I found an old dentist's office, long since abandoned. I kicked open the door and set the man down inside the dark, dusty waiting room, tossing the rug on top of him for a blanket. Better than nothing, probably. At last, with a somewhat lightened conscience, I hurried back to the street. But as I rushed towards the parking garage, savoring the last drops of blood on my tongue, I couldn't stop thinking about what just happened. So, this was what it meant to be a vampire, an urban and unholy apex predator, a parasite, just like Marcus had said, living off someone else's life. There really was no going back. Shucks, man. Like, I can't even avoid that too. July Company parking garage, closing October 8th. How many Octobers ago, I wonder? Judging from the litter and grime all around the sign, probably quite a few had passed. Well, it didn't matter. This was the place. A bored-looking thug stood by this entrance, obviously stationed as a guard. My first trial, by the looks of it. Putting on a confident expression, I strode up to him, clearing my throat. Oh, it's a random person. Oh, okay, it's a vampire, okay. Place is closed. Go around somewhere else. He barked a few short words out of me before I couldn't even open my mouth. I'm one of the Golgotha meeting here tonight. Please let me in. Oh yeah? You don't really look like one of them. Hard to tell sometimes, so. He peered into my face suspiciously, letting out a grunt. But Randal told me not to let anyone else inside. Too much crap at stake. Even if I promise you something later? What a shame. I figured you were the type of guy who would like cash. Cash? He paused, a greedy light flickering in his eyes. Alright. How much cash are we talking about here? Fork it over and I'll say, you got passed when I wasn't looking. Hand over the money. Yeah, baby. I handed him everything left in my wallet, which was apparently enough to buy me the backstage pass I needed. With any luck, I could get the money back from Miss Shari's later. A legitimate legitimate business expense. Oh my goodness. See, oh gosh. Well, what the hell are you waiting for? Get your butt inside before I change my mind. The guard stepped aside, and I didn't waste any time hurrying into the garage. I was lucky that they only had muscle and not brains in front of their entrance. After darting down a few levels out of the garage at top speed, I finally arrived. Loud whispers and rowdy laughter made it sound like the meeting hadn't started yet. I was just in time. The two groups standing across from each other were pretty clear-cut, and I could easily tell which house was which. One was full of rough types, probably gangsters and punks in life. Tattoos, leather jackets, piercings, and wild eyes were everywhere. The other group, interestingly enough, looked like the complete opposite. Eccentric outfits, soft murmurs, and a large amount of eerie smiles. Alright, let's cut the bullcrap and talk conditions. A deep voice suddenly boomed through the garage, making everyone fall silent. Yeah, there's the boy Randal, the bootleg Thor. Moments later, a tall, muscular vampire pushed his way to the front of the Marva group. The sheer force of his presence made it instantly clear who he was. I only agreed to this meeting because I hate those Iskari more than I hate you. I'm guessing it's mutual. If you want a truce, there'd better be something to sweeten the deal. I don't think these guys here settle for anything else. Yeah, hell yeah, don't let them weasel, Randal. Cheers for approval rang out from the rowdy group behind him. Why, of course, Mr. Randal. We wouldn't dream of offering anything but the fairest of terms of our Marva brethren. One of the Golgotha vampires stepped toward, his sing-song voice tinged with a British accent. Frig you, slimy boy. We know what your game is. Snarls and jeering instantly rustle among the Marva in response. Very sure. You guys would cheat a blind guy at dice if you could get away with it. So what are you gonna try to sell us? Fortune-telling services? Voodoo magic? We're gonna need something realer than empty promises. The Golgotha vampire let out a smug chuckle, like he had a hidden trump card ready. I didn't like the sound of that. If I had to crash and burn this meeting, then I had to do something now, before they worked out a deal. Rush up to Randal. Whoa! Hey, what were you? Pushed him through a crowd of Marva. I bolted up to Randal as fast as I could. I pulled out his knife and held it in my palms, trying to keep my face from revealing anything. Whoa, what the hell are you doing, kid? He glared at me, shocked and suspicious, and I realized that if I couldn't convince him, that accusing look might just be the last thing I ever see. Boss, I found this on one of the guys. I hit it up with, is his knife yours? And one of the guys. Boss, I found this on one of the guys. This kid, I don't know what you're... What the... Cutting off mid-sentence, Randal glanced down at the knife in my hands. Then, his eyes slid back to mine, meeting my gaze wordlessly for a few moments. You got this from... a Golgotha. A Golgotha. He took my... Holy hell. Mr. Randal, would you mind explaining what's going on? The leader of the Golgotha group called over to us, clearly confused. Dang it! I can't deal with this crap right now. Mr. Randal, awfully sorry to interrupt, but we really like to present our tip. Get the heck out of here! All of you guys, meetings cancelled. Randal's angry command echoed through the garage, loud enough to make a few vampires wince. And you guys, make sure these scurry back to the rat holes. He addressed his own group with a low growl, which was met with hurried nods and eager knuckle cracking. I'll meet you outside in a little while. Go on, get going. We're gonna talk about. Alright, you heard him, man. Come on, let's go. That's only the dying. What the hell? I can't take them. What was that? Oh no, just kidding. Oh no. Oh god, I'm done. Within seconds, the garage turned into a chaotic mess of Golgotha vampires fending off rabid Marva, who pushed and shoved them into the exit. It was easy to tell how much Randal's group was hungry for a fight, but the Golgotha vampires stayed placid, like they refused to give the Marva what they needed. The confusion and shouting went on for a few hectic minutes, but eventually the garage emptied, leaving behind only Randal and me. Man, you have some balls. After a long moment of silence, Randal let out a long, tired sigh, finally turning his attention back to me. That was supposed to be a trick, right? You were trying to turn me against the Gauls? Not gonna lie, it was a pretty crappy attempt. Even if they tried to bring my even if they did bring my knife as a bargaining chip, there's no way they'd be that careless with it. Let me guess. Queen sent you, didn't she? You mean Shari's? Who the hell else? Shari's figures. She must have known I would see through this. It's too obvious. What the hell is she aiming for? Iskari and the mind games, dang it. Randal growled deep in his throat, fangs bared like a wild animal. But his rage didn't seem focused at me, much to my surprise. He was still holding the knife too, so I considered myself lucky. Finally, he let out a groan, most of the anger on his face fading to annoyance. Probably good we didn't bargain with those freaks anyway. They were up to something just like always. But you, I never seen your face before, and I've just seen about every vampire in LA. And since you were sent on a suicide mission, it doesn't take a whole lot of detective work to see that you're new. Cannon fodder, kicked out to die. What's your name anyway? It's Max. Max, huh? Well, Max, wait to make an entrance. I don't want to cuss, alright? This is family friendly. He didn't sound quite as angry as I figured he'd be. I should probably tear you up for pulling that crap on us, but man, I guess you didn't get much of a choice. It's just like It's just like Queen taking a newbie and throwing him out of the sharks. But there's not a whole lot I can do for you. You're not with her on high alert. The Iskari still have the most power in LA right now. So if Shari's wanted you dead, well, you'll be dead. She'll find you no matter what, where you try to hide out. Taking you in right now, well, you'll be too much of a risk. And I gotta look out for me and my group. His shoulders raised in a hapless shrug, one hand scratching at the back of his head. He really did sound apologetic, even though he didn't necessarily have any reason to be. Well, Shari's won a truce with you eventually. Would you agree one? So, how do you feel about working for the East Kari? Nah, nah. Would you agree with one? What? She said you're the leader of the Mafia and want to be allies. A choked laugh of disbelief erupted from his throat. If he reacted like that, just to mention of an alliance, it probably didn't bode well for Shari's. That's the dumbest thing I heard all month. And I just read a magazine and trying to tell me my... Sure, these guys look up to me, but I'm not their leader. They have no leader. That's kind of the point. Told her that 100 friggin' times too. Hard concept for a dollop fascist to grasp, I guess. He muttered his last words spitefully, grinding a stray piece of gravel underneath his boot. You sound like a leader earlier. Are you sure you're not just deluding yourself? Yeah, I think Shari's... You sound like a leader earlier. Me? I'm just a voice, you know. 50 guys shouting at once? That can get real loud. Now, one guy speaking for the group, that makes negotiations a lot easier. Even if I rather negotiate with my knuckles in that smug face. In that smug face. He snarled, grinding his fist into his palm, not glaring in the direction of Golgotha went off earlier. Christ, I can't believe Queen thinks I'll work under her. Every Iskari is always out to use or kill you for power. That's just how it goes. They say they're all about beauty and peace and words over fighting, but it's all a sham. One big bunches of snakes. What? One big bunch of snakes. I mean, Iskari actually. Someone sounds a little jealous. Nah, stay quiet. What's that look for? Oh crap, you are one, aren't you? Abruptly stiffening, Randal stared at me for a few seconds. His fingers curled into fists, knuckles turning white. But before long, he let out a pained sigh. If I didn't have a soft spot for newbies, I'd be real tempted to crack you open right now. But I won't. My point still stands. Iskari will mess you over no matter what. Even if you're part of the same house. And those Golgotha creeps, they're all wrapped up in this crap. I don't know, conspiracy theories, weird prophecies or something. Except for Marcus anyway. Marcus is the best girl I know around here. Marcus is amazing. Weird sunglasses and all. Marcus, yes, we met. Yeah, I can't understand anything he says. It's great. Nah. Marcus, yes, we met. Already? Makes sense, I guess. He knows everything that goes on in the city somehow. Marcus, man. I used to hate his guts since he was always playing nice with Queen. Not to mention that slow, preachy way he talks. But then when I shut up and I actually listened to what he said, I realized he's got it all figured out. The politics, the mind games, everything. Okay. Randal paused, shaking his head in bemused awe. He didn't seem like the type of guy who respects just anyone. So the fact that he thought so highly of Marcus must have really meant something. That guy could be the king of Los Angeles if he wanted to. Hell, probably the whole world. But instead he just hangs out in his But instead he just hangs out in his store and sells giant really makes you think, doesn't it? Randal clutched his stomach, doubling over as if he just cracked the best stroke of the century. And that leaves your house, Marva, right? My house is full of... And that leaves your house, Marva, right? You got it. Not a whole lot to say about us, really. Marva, don't complicate crap. We just don't stand for unfair rules, and Queen is full of them. Vampires should be able to do whatever the hell they want. No murder sprees, and no revealing your nature in public. Aside from that, we like to live our own lives as we frickin' well please. Unusually on the wilder side, got a problem with another vampire? Face them head on. No politics, that crap's for the Iskari. We're beasts after all, and Marva don't hide from that. We embrace it. Interesting. Dangerous, but interesting. No more dangerous than Iskari's scheming or Golgotha mind games. We don't dance from crap. And that's how it should be. If you slap rules onto a world as dangerous as ours, you're gonna have a problem. Trying to make crazy powerful creatures all play nice with each other is a recipe for disaster. Lying, murder, theft is a piece of cake for us. Whatever. You understand one day. Shucks, man. So like they just want to do whatever they want, right? With a wry smile, Randal reached out to clamp a large hand on my shoulder, squeezing it roughly. Alright kid, it's been fun, but I need to make sure the others aren't running down gulls in the street or anything else too crazy. I'm usually at the beach with my crew, so if you ever decide to hop onto the winning team. He trailed off and clicked his tongue playfully, winking at me. Thanks, Randal. Nah, no need to thank me. We were all humans once. I do my best to remember that. Okay. Oh my god, this place is so hot here. Much better. I got breeze here. And with that, we parted ways. I left the parking garage with a slightly clearer picture of the world I've been tossed into, thanks to Randal. Luckily, the guard at the entrance was gone, so I avoided another awkward encounter. Maybe Randal will explain things to him later. That whole mess had worked out somehow, although I had to wonder how much was just the beginner's luck, since most of it seemed too convenient to be true. I arrived at the hotel with an overwhelming sense of relief, making my way back to the meeting room from last night. As I turned out, Charis and Heath were already waiting for me. Welcome back, Max. We already heard about the little mess you caused at the parking garage. Word travels fast. Heath's airy voice rang with pride, and he offered me with an encouraging smile. Yes, you've done quite an impressive job. Your performance certainly surpassed my expectations. Unsurprisingly, Charis didn't match Heath's smile, but she did offer me a sharp nod. Yeah, but... Ahem. Before we go any further, let me clear the air. I predicted that Randal would see through the knife deception. However, you accomplished a twofold task, perhaps without realizing it. You disrupted their truth discussions, at least for now, and you also made yourself known by name to Randal, who is a significantly powerful vampire. From the smug lit in her tone, I could tell Charis was pretty pleased with the outcome of events. Did that mean my instincts were right? None of what happened back there was an accident? As I mentioned earlier, you're, n- you're not, it's a naive. Naivety is assumed by everyone you meet, even secretive insular vampires will open to you simply because they want to win you to the cause. You should use this to your advantage while you still can. Ingratiate yourself with those who believe you have no uh, allegiances. Duly noted, I'm not as naive as it. That seemed kind of dishonest. On the contrary, there's nothing dishonest about it. Most vampires here only their own self-interest at heart. Have only okay. If they're foolish enough to believe you incapable of critical thought, then they deserve whatever they get. She sniffed pointedly, nudging her glasses back up to her nose. That matters aside, I have another task for you. Another one? I just started the episode already. What? It entails less conflict, but is of equal importance. I'm gonna stay quiet. One of my contacts in South LA was unreachable tonight. I need to know why. But I can't spare any of my other associates to go find her. Things are very busy, you see. I imagine she's perfectly fine, as she often vanishes for a night or two to engage in frivolities. But I'd like to confirm the situation. Go to the area, track her down, and report back to me. Not too complicated, isn't it? Understood. I'll be back once I found your contact. Excellent. I have greatest faith you carry out that promise. My calm response seemed to please Charis, who peered at me contentedly from over her glasses. Very well. One final thing, Max, before you go. What is it? I suggest you partner yourself with, or at least try to learn from, an older vampire. My agent here, Heath, is relatively new himself, but he may have some valuable insights on Hollywood to share with you. When Charis mentioned his name, Heath perked up, and his eyes sparkled curiosity. It says, wait, hold on. I just realized Heath actually has green eyes, right? Like, Heath actually has green eyes. When I was biting someone, there was actually some. Here, Max says there's like some green eyes in the darkness. Was that really Heath? I don't know. Was that really Heath? Like what? Like watching what I was actually doing? I think so. Cause what? Yeah, look. As you can see, he actually has green eyes. I just realized that. Did I hear you compliment me just now, Charis? I was merely stating the facts. Wait, is it Charis saying it, or like it was Heath? Oh, it was Charis. Okay. She coolly replied to Heath without missing a beat. Oh, I see. Moving along, Marcus too possesses a remarkable insight and knowledge. But as a Golgotha, he is also particularly eccentric, and his loyalties are unpredictable. Take everything he says with a grain of salt. And this may come as a surprise if you decide to seek out Randal as a mentor. I won't stop you. I acknowledge the strength of his position as well as his charisma and conviction. However, do not let yourself be swayed by his anarchistic beliefs. Okay, it's anarchy. So the current was proof of what happens when vampires eschew leadership: chaos, paranoia, and bloodshed. I'll choose carefully, so you should. The decision may be the most important one you'll ever make. Heath and I will be staying here to discuss affairs, but I'll expect your report in the next few days, Max. She lifted an elegant hand, gesturing towards the door. Heath looked disappointed, flashing me an apologetic grimace when Shari wasn't looking. But it seems like he was stuck there for a moment. Okay, I left. I took the hint and left, heading towards the elevator. A part of me wondered what affairs they were talking about, but eavesdropping probably wasn't worth the risk. My room welcomed me back with all its glamorous, lifeless shine. But as relieved and happy as I was to complete my trial, I felt incredibly restless and uneasy. Lifting the curtains with one hand, I gazed out the window, absorbing the vibrant cityscape before me. Yesterday, it had all felt like a dream. Today, reality was finally setting in. I was a vampire, chained to eternity, trapped behind glass, separated from the Hollywood life I dream of, so close and forever unreachable. Like the cityscape, that dream would always glitter in the distance, a reminder of what I lost. No matter how strong I was, it still felt my whole world had just plunged upside down, and I couldn't find anywhere to put my feet. Maybe I really did need a mentor to help me through this. Rules, etiquette, is it etiquette and powers? I could figure those out by myself, given enough time. But that wasn't what I needed most. I needed a way to ground myself, to figure out what being a vampire really meant, and who I was becoming. The three men Shari mentioned seemed to know what they were doing, if nothing else. There was a good chance that one of them could help me discover my place in this new life. With that, I made up my mind. Tomorrow, I go and see Randal Heath Marcus. Randal Heath Marcus. How about Randal? Cause like he's just the strong one. Randal was. I'm not saying that because I'm just saying that because I want to find a meaning of my life. Randal is the most casual, friendly vampire I met so far. Blunt and opinionated, maybe, but I had the sense he wouldn't try to manipulate me, unlike most others probably would. I didn't mind the fact that he was a Mava, in fact. I found his hot-bloodedness intriguing in its own way. With any luck, Randal wouldn't mind helping me out despite the rocky start we got off to. Then it was settled. Tomorrow, I take a break from running Shari's errands and go find Randal instead. That thought was only a small pillar in the whirlwind I've been thrown into, but I clung to it as tightly as I could. A little excitement sparked through me as I shut the curtains, curling onto my bed to hide from the coming daylight. If this was what fate had in store for me, then so be it. I would fight and struggle to stay afloat in this world I've been thrown into, and no matter what, I wouldn't give up. Even if it meant I would never see another sunrise again. Oh yeah, he said that there will be a beach. My feet sank into the soft, welcoming sand. A gentle rhythm of crashing waves filled my ears, washing over the distant cries of seagulls. It felt so different from the glittering bustle of Hollywood and downtown LA. Almost like a remote, isolated bubble of paradise. After taking a taxi from the hotel to Santa Monica, I had been wandering around for a little while looking for Randal's place. The only direction he'd given me were at the beach, which wasn't exactly the most helpful. Luckily, I could smell or rather sense the presence of vampires nearby. But this time I felt like I was tracking a blob instead of individual scents, as they all morphed together into one giant presence. My feet soon took me to a rickety house by the waterfront. I heard a familiar charismatic voice booming through the windows, which meant this was definitely the place. Max. A few seconds after I knocked, the door swung open. At first, Randall looked shocked to see me, but his mouth soon curled into a guarded smile. You know, I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting you to show up again. I couldn't keep myself away. Most people don't like to catch them by surprise. Huh. So you're telling me I'm the one who got played, huh? Nice comeback. But I feel like you came here with an agenda in mind. No one sent me here. No one sent me here. I just came to talk to you. He didn't seem to be buying it. It was hard to blame him considering the stunt I pulled last night. Even if you came to spy on me, at least you're good entertainment. There's probably nothing Queen doesn't know about me already, so stop standing around and come inside. Okay. Oh, there are actually people inside here. Okay. Hey, what's up? Yo, this is already done. The living room was far from empty. A number of vampires crowded around in conversations, some standing and others lounging on the couch and chairs. But when they noticed me, the chatter dropped into a low guarded murmur, and sharp looks flew at me from all directions. Hello, everyone. Stay silent. My silence met with more silence, causing the room to sink even deeper into an awkward sludge. Hey, isn't that the kid who gave you the knife, Randal? I think it recognizes his face. A few vampires raised their voice warily, glancing between Randal and me. Relax, we work it out, alright? Randal eyed the vampires who raised their hackles, wearing the slightly disappointed look of an older brother dealing with immature siblings. He's a newbie who was at the wrong place at the wrong time, that's all. Had some empathy, guys. A moment later, their hostile gazes began melting away, and the room echoed with a few sheepish coughs and grumbles. I guess you're right, like usual. It's kind of easy to forget sometimes that we all had it rough at the start. The chatter gradually resumed its previous volume, and with the exception of a few lingering glares, the hostility in the room subsided. It was like Randal had flipped some kind of switch. I've seen at the garage how much, but it seemed even more obvious now. Sorry about that, kid. Clearing his throat, Randal let out a faint chuckle. Everyone's got a little jumpy with this war crap going on, and with you working for the Sharis, they don't hesitate to get defensive. It's fine. I get why they... I get it why. Good. Don't take it too personally, okay? Just how things work around here, for now anyway. He glanced away for a moment, an idle smile flickered across his lips. Anyway, come on over the couch. Let me introduce you to a few folks. Once they meet the big old evil Max in the flesh, maybe they'll warm up to you. With one hand gently steering my shoulder, Randal led me through the throng of vampires, and I felt numerous gazing on me as we passed by. We ended up in front of a small group sprawled on the sofa and chairs, the conversation quickly dying down as we approached. Hey everyone, Give Max here your best welcome. A mumble, a mumble chorus of highs and hays rose up from the group, not exactly ringing with enthusiasm. But I noticed one girl hadn't said anything at all, and judging from his raised eyebrow, Randal had noticed too. What was that, Marla? Come on, cut the sulking act for half a minute and give him that winning smile you got. When you address the girl, a pretty vampire with a wealth of curly hair restrained by a headband, she let out a long, groaning sigh. Alright. Hi, newbie. I'm Marla. I fix cars and kick the butts of people who mess with our clan. You might want to keep that in mind. Hi, Marla. I'm Max. Yeah, I know. Hi. She responded stiffly, making no attempt to hide her mistrust. Alright, now over here we got Marla's boyfriend, our resident gunsmith, Ziggy. He pointed out a young Asian guy leaning against Marla's side, his shaggy black hair obscuring one eye. Ziggy smiled shyly at me, nodding his head a little. Nod back. Looking thoroughly relieved that I hadn't said anything to him, Ziggy leaned back quietly against Marla's shoulder. Zig never really says a whole lot, but he's a good kid. Good with guns too. Most of us have to pack heat when we go near Hollywood these days. And let's see, this fine lady here is Joaquina. Our damsel. I'm gonna say Joe instead. This here is Joe, our damsel from the age of the Wild West. The next vampire Randal motioned to was a much older woman, probably nearing her 70s, who looked Hispanic with long gray hair and a wrinkled face. She's everyone's grandma, except instead of baking cookies, she likes to sharpshoot guys who cross too many lines. Step on her toes, and she'll lasso your butt and dangle you off the cliff. Howdy, Max. That little jig you put all at the parking garage, dang near had my sides splitting open. Just trying to pull it again, or else I might have to slit your sides open, okay? Flashing me with a teasing grin, Joe broke out into deep, raspy laughter that Randal instantly joined in on. I'm gonna say it's quiet. They continued to laugh for a short while longer, and the rest of the group exchanged dry looks that suggested this was a regular occurrence. Alright. Last but not least, our new and lovable scaredy cat. Oh yeah, you guys already met, didn't you? Who? As Randal gestured to the last man in the crowd, I realized I'd seen him before. Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, he was there. The same thug who was gathered at the parking garage. When our eyes met, he grimaced and quickly looked away, pulling his hood further over his head. He was one of the newest vampires in LA before you came along, Max. So he doesn't know his butt from a hole in the ground either. Go on, Jack. Don't be shy. Hey, I'm Jack. He cleared his throat, eyes darted nervously between Randal and me. I really don't need that cash you gave me or anything. I was kind of all one big joke. Just take it back, man. Muttering sheepishly, he reached in his pocket and pulled out a small roll of bills, stuffing it in my hand. Thanks. That's very honest of you. Yeah, whatever. As he sank back further into his hoodie, I had the distant sense that he'd be blushing. If his body still could, of course. Okay, I think that's everyone. Loudly clearing his throat, Randal eyed Jack for a moment, who sank back in the sofa as Joe patted his shoulder. Alright guys, me and Max will let you go back to whatever gossip you were throwing around. Huh? You're not staying? Give me a few moments, I gotta talk to Max outside about something. His eyes darted over to meet mine, tinged with a sharp curiosity. It was nice meeting you all. Well, you two take care of it out there. And if any hopheads on the beach give y'all trouble, let me know and I'll pick them off from the window. Yeah, maybe don't do that. With that, we left the laughter, grouped to themselves. Though their gazes still followed Randal after we turned away. Somehow the room's energy seemed to be focused on him. Like everyone was always aware of Randal's presence, even if they were trying actively watching his towering figure. Let me see first. Outside, Randal lowered himself onto the porch's stairs, motioning me to sit down beside him. The waves gently crashed and fell in the distance, rippled beneath the moonlight. Hope I didn't throw you off too much back there. But hey, I don't like to break the ice so much as smash it in with a hammer. Thanks for trying, but they're really not my type. Yeah, I can see that. He scoffed gently, shaking his head. You know, even if we were technically immortal and all that crap, I still hate wasting time. Live every moment like it's your last. That means quit tiptoeing and cannonballing. He paused. His gaze flickered from my face to the dark ocean. Behind us, I could hear the muffled sound of laughter and chatter drifting warmly from inside. When Randal turned back to me, a faint shadow clouded his face. It was a different look from the one he wore inside the house, almost defensive. So, if you really weren't sent him by Shari's, I'm guessing there's something on your mind, right? Well, Shari's told me I should find a mentor. Wait, she told you that? And you came to me? Ugh. Randal erupted into a fit of laughter, wheezing delightedly and slapped his thigh. You okay? It's just, I can't tell if you came here, if you came to me to spy her because you thought it was a good idea, or if you actually haven't met anyone else. They're all really bad. But because I don't know if you noticed, but I don't really give off the wise old teacher vibe. Wise old stoner, maybe. But hey, I guess you were serious, huh? Well, crap. He let out a long, deep sigh, watching me broodingly for a long few moments. Please, Randal, would it help me? Would I be a burden if you took me on the wing? Well, I didn't come in a party. Please, Randal, will it help me? Help you how, kid? I'm not a Buddha, and I can't guide you to some kind of vampiric enlightenment. But suddenly you're fine and dandy with being mega mosquito. With a frustrated grunt, Randal ran a hand through the back of his hair. He seemed to be wrestling with his own thoughts. Look, I might be able to help you figure things out if you tell me what you want now that you're a vampire. You do know what you want, right? I want to have friends and be close to people again. I feel like I'm alone now. I want to become a powerful player, not somebody's lucky. I want to do what the hell I want. I feel like I'm alone now, already missing the flock of admirers you must have had in life, huh? Man, you really are Iskari. He gave me a slightly thinner smile than normal. You know, the best way to deal with it, just pretend You move to a new place. You don't know anyone. The neighbors are buttholes. Your boss turns out to be a massive. But if you treat people right and show them they can trust you, you'll have your little social circle back in no time. Vampires were the same as humans, just a little more paranoid. He chuckled, tapping inside of his brow with a knowing wink, as if suggesting I experienced that firsthand soon enough. Alright, now listen to me for a second, Max. I like your style, so I'm gonna make you an offer. You keep working for Queen for now, at least. You don't have to act happy about it, but don't make her think you're a threat either. If she tries to make any move against me or makes a treaty with the Gauls to take us down, tell me as soon as you can. She might slip you false information, but I can usually sniff out the truth. And in return, I'll teach you how to keep your spirits as a vampire in LA. The way me and my group stay strong. Maybe it'll help you figure yourself out a little more. How's that sound, newbie? Alright. Thank you, Randal. This means a lot to me. Well, it works for both of us. Queen must have been getting desperate for new grunts. So if she starts trusting you, that makes you a perfect spy. And you know, you're alright, kid. I think you might have found where you belong. He stuck out a large, callous hand for me to shake, staring intently into my eyes. As I reached out for his hand, I noticed a bandage in the middle of his palm. Dude, there wasn't any smell of blood. Hey, don't leave me hanging there. Randal leaned towards the clasp both of his hands around my own, dwarfing it in his giant palms. After a firm few shakes, he used his hold to pull me in a little closer. I couldn't tell if it was on purpose or just something he did on instinct, considering the aggressive nature of his blood. And Max, the first thing I want you to learn is to always obey yourself. Randal's fingers tightened a little bit around my hand, squeezing it almost painfully hard. Never believe anyone is better or more worthy than you. Never let your mind be a slave to someone or something else. No masters, no kings, no idols. I hope you take that to heart. Even after he stopped speaking, his quiet words echoed in my mind, like a tolling bell slowly fading to silence. Was he threatening me? Warning me? Testing me? Whatever it was, I could tell he wasn't kidding around. I won't bow down to anyone, Randal. You can count on that. I'll hold you to that promise, Max. A smirk warmed onto his lips, and he gave my hand one last strong squeeze before finally letting me go. We shared no body warmth, obviously, but I still felt that roughness of his bandaged palms lingering on my skin. Good. I got a promise feeling about this. And I hope that put your mind to rest, some kid. Don't want you going back sadder than a box of kittens in the rain. Listen, I need to get some planning done for a little East Curry party crash I'm doing tomorrow. Don't want you to think I'm kicking you out, but I'm kinda am. Grinning apologetically, Randal pushed himself to his feet, rubbing the small of his back. Then he extended a palm down to help me up. My hesitation must have been obvious because Randal let out a bark of laughter. No squeeze this time, I promise. I'm good, thanks. Yeah, alright. He beamed at me, apparently not often in the least. But as I turned the step off the porch, Randal stopped me, tugging lightly on the back of my jacket. Hey Max, night after tomorrow, how about we go grab some drinks, say around midnight? It's a place called... Wait, that's the same. Wait, that's the same place Heath mentioned. Saturnalia. There's a place called Saturnalia, run by one of Shari's. Yeah, he mentioned this. Shari's boys. But at least he serves stuff that won't make us sick. I got nothing better to do. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the spirit. Alright, I'll see you later. I'll see you then. You can ask someone at the hotel for directions. Those Iskaris are always hanging out there. Now enjoy the rest of your night, kid. And hey, I'm glad you came by. After I stepped off the patio and back on the beach, Randal gave me one last warm smile. I called out a farewell, but my voice was swallowed by the drone of endless waves crashing on the shore. I spent the rest of the night mingling with mortals, curiously about my new skill. Immediately I noticed that people treated me in a different way. No matter what I said, it seemed much easier to persuade them, like my words have had a magical effect. And sometimes when I made eye contact with a nearby human, they started to look almost mesmerized. Was this part of my power? But as I toyed with my persuasive talents, I noticed something unsettling. Every time I tried to charm someone, I lost all sense of self for a split second. It was like I only exist through their eyes and the world, and my heart felt like an empty, hollow shell. I have to be careful with my abilities because if I strain them too hard, that disturbing feeling might stick in my mind permanently. Finally, as I began heading back to the hotel, a fresh hunger stirred in my gut. Sunrise was still was still an hour off, so I could feed off a human if I wanted to. Drink a blood pack. I shook my head. I wasn't ready to drink from another living thing. I just drank a leftover blood pack from my fridge. It didn't satisfy me nearly as much as warm blood, but it would have to do. By the time I returned to my hotel, I settling in for the night, everything was beginning to feel more natural. It was still bizarre to think I'd been turned into a blood-sucking pretty corpse, but I realized something important. I could use my house to better understand myself. Okay, I have to use this. My powers were a reflection of how I was in life, or how I wanted to be. The mysterious vampires who sired me must have brought me into his house because we were similar somehow. By learning how the other Iskari acted, how they use their powers, I also try to learn more about myself, my true nature. As morning crept closer and I curled up on the bed to hide away from the sun, I resolved to keep that promise. After all, undead or not, the week wouldn't last long in Hollywood. The night sky flickered past outside my car window, its stars almost invisible through all the light pollution frig. I was on my way to South Los Angeles, courtesy of Shari's driver. He never said a word, which was slightly unnerving, but the circumstances didn't really lend themselves to small talk. Only a few days ago, Marcus and I had taken the same sedan to a Hollywood Heights hotel, and now I'm here. I was riding again, rolled out like a bowling ball from Shari's fingertips. Unlike my previous mission, I hadn't been given a lot to go on. All I knew was the description of Shari's agent, a Latina Iskari blood, gray suit with blue shirt. Oh my god. Appeared in her mid-30s. She gone missing for a few days. And even though Shari said that the agent usually took lengthy vacations, I had a bad feeling about this. Before long, the son pulled over to the seemingly random pointed on the street. Of course, the driver didn't say anything, but I could guess that this was my drop-off point. What? Whoa, what is this here? I left the car for the streets of South LA, wondering how exactly to start my search. Asking around wouldn't be a bad idea though. Most of the people passing by looking pretty unsavory. I could try to track her down myself if there was any traces left on of a scent. My best bet was probably to go watch a movie. What? Look for any clue or signs of struggle. Ask around. Try to track her scent. I didn't have much to go on. Shari's had offhandedly mentioned the scent of the agent's perfume, but that was about it. If she got into a fight, maybe I could catch the scent of blood somewhere. And of course, there would be the distinct smell, if you could call it that, of a vampire, much different from human. I couldn't really put it into words. Then again, pretty much everything that happened to me recently defied logical explanation. I explored the streets and alleys, trying not to look like some weirdo pretending to be a bloodhound. Here and there I caught a trace of something different, dark, among all the stink of society. But even though my senses were sharper than before, I kept losing the scent. It was too faint and distant, like a shadow that had mostly faded away. A little disheartened, I went back to my starting point and decided to try something else. Maybe going to a movie is actually the best way to do it. Maybe going to a movie is the best way to do it. Honestly, I just wasn't in the mood for all this. Big Girls Don't Die was double featuring with Attack of the Martin Swamp Cows 2, and frankly speaking, I deserve a break. So I spent the next couple of hours in a movie theater smelling nostalgic scent of overpriced popcorn and watching amphibious cows eat people alive. It was a good time, but by the end of it, I hadn't got any closer to finding Shari's agent. So that doesn't work. Look for any clues. If she been attacked, there might be some kind of clue behind. It wasn't a long shot, but it might be worth a try. I combed through the streets and the alleys, trying to find anything that would give me a hint to the agent's whereabouts. But there was nothing to be found besides litter, grime, and general human misery. I had to take a different approach, maybe something more suited to my Iskari talents. I went back to my starting point, mulling over what to try next. Yep, I had to ask around. Okay. Rumors and potential witnesses were probably my best shot. I have to remember I was dealing with mortals though. I wasn't sure if that would make things easier or harder. I wandered around for a little while, talking to a few people who seemed like they hung out on the streets. Prostitutes, pimps, dealers, the homeless, but most of them weren't willing to talk, and the ones that it didn't work, none of them worked. Just as I was starting to get frustrated by a string of failures, someone on the street caught my eye. A middle-aged man leaning on the wall outside a storefront, his eyes intently flicking over the people passing by. He looked like the type of guy who probably drove a white van with tinted windows and carried chloroform in his back pocket. But with that mean stare, he might have seen something. Without pausing Without pausing to reconsider my questionable decision, I quickly approached him. Well, hello there, honey. The man's eyes roamed over my face, crawling down my body. Judging from his eager, predatory smile, I probably wasn't dealing with some pleasant gentleman out for a smoke. I'm looking for a teen in her mid-30s, grey suit, blue shirts. You seen her? Oh, maybe not. He he cackled delightedly, a high-pitched sound that was too full of excitement. And maybe I tell you if you come back with me somewhere nice and private, Tell me what I want to know right now, or I'll beat you to a summing pulp. You would? The man let out a faint groan. More like a moan. A moan? I didn't know you were that type, but yes. I'm a boy! How the I mean, well, then again, like... yeah, I didn't know you were that type, but yes, please, beat me up all you want. We can go to my place, or your place, and his voice quivered with desperate excitement. It was just my luck that the person I tried to threaten would be a freaking masochist. Hey, wait. We can have all sorts of fun together, I promise. But I was already turning away. So it doesn't work. There was a pretty high chance sleazy slimeballs didn't know anything. And even if he did, I probably wouldn't be able to get it out of him without being displeasing myself. Maybe it was better to try and look somewhere else. Hey. As I headed further on the street, a different voice called out to me. I turned to see a young woman hurrying up to my side, some human I've never seen before. I overheard you were talking to that guy back there. He was the manager at the shop I work at. Are you serious? He's the manager? I cannot believe that the man I talked to was a manager and he trying to like rape me. What? He giggled, twirling a strand of hair around one finger. I see. Did you shop like a brothel or what? Wow. Oh my god, that's really rude. I'm just trying to be helpful, okay? Shut out a loud, impatient huff, either annoyed because I offered her or because my guess hit the mark. I was on the street with him on the other night when we saw the girl pass by. The one you mentioned? My boss, he like wanted to go on a date with her or something, so he followed her down that side road. That one back there. She flickered her thumb over her shoulder. Towards the alley at the end of the block. Did she go inside somewhere? Was someone with her? No, she was by herself, but she kept looking over her shoulder a lot. My boss said she like vanished somewhere in the alley, but I don't know where she went. It's a dead end. Sounds like you're her friend, so maybe you can figure it out. You look like you know what you're doing. Thank you. I'll go find her. I'll go see if I can find her. Yeah, good luck. So she went somewhere else. Okay. Turning around, I made my way towards the alley the girl pointed, keeping my eye out for any sign of struggle. But I couldn't see or smell anything. Just a putrid mix of urine and sweat. And when I wandered further in, I realized why they thought the agent disappeared. It was very much of a dead end, except for a manhole leading to the sewers. If the agent was chasing someone or running from someone, it seemed like a perfect escape route. Knowing I had to be on the right track, I grabbed the manhole cover and easily yanked it off. A damp, smelly darkness yawned at me from below, but unfortunately it seems the only way forward. Ugh, gosh. After clambering down the ladder, I stepped off the bottom rung into murky, shallow water. A few rats darted away, squeaking in terror, like I barged into their private meeting. I really hadn't come to LA expecting to splash around in the sewers, but life was just full of surprises. I cautiously made my way forward, trying to spot any sign of the agent. The stench of sewage was almost unbearable. It was bad enough as human, but as a vampire it felt like I was snorting a line of garbage. Ironically, just a few hours ago, I'd be lounging in my extra, extravagant, extravagant hotel suite, and now here I was getting intimately acquainted with Ellie's waist. In the middle of all that filth and vermin, I pondered how this really wasn't worth it. I was just doing what I had to do. This was just another part of a job. Maybe not the most enjoyable field work, but I wasn't about to bolt at the sight of some rats. The further I ventured into the sewers, the more uneasy I felt. My sharpened instincts jumped on every noise, every strange flicker of light, and yet nothing came out of darkness. Then, over the awful smell of Ellie's various waste, I suddenly picked up a different scent. Blood. But it was a strange acrid. A warped version of the sweet smell I was used to. I followed the bitter scent down several tunnels, staying on high alert. Closer. It was so close now, and anticipation filled my empty gut. I rounded yet another corner, and then the smell stopped. It was strongest right here, but I couldn't see anything but water and floating garbage. Had I missed something? Just as I was about to turn around, my gaze fell on a ruined TV lying on a pile of clothes. It looks unnatural, out of place, and the water around it was a different color. But as I stared at the TV set, I slowly realized I wasn't looking at someone's discarded trash. The screen was torn out, but instead of exploded, I decided, I saw a mangled head. What? That pile wasn't just clothes. It was a body. Oh. With a chill creeping up my spine, I slowly stepped closer, studying the corpse. When I realized its features, my stomach clenched in dread. This was... Oh no! She's been dead already? Oh no, that's Shari's agent? At least, from what I could tell, her body was completely mutilated. Someone had opened a hole in the bottom of the TV and stuck it over her head. Examining the body more closely, she looked like she'd been attacked by a wild animal. Huge chunks of flesh sliced off, bones sticking out, clothing torn into shreds. And more strangely, she was missing her eyes and ears. Oh, but judging from her precise cuts there, they've been removed with an almost surgical precision. As my eyes traveled down the massacred body, I spotted something on the ground by its side. It was a small piece of oddly bright stationery printed with almost mechanically perfect handwriting. It's always the same. It must have been a note from the killer. Shari's would definitely want to see this. I bent down gently to gingerly grab the paper, folding it up to stick in my pocket. At that moment, I felt something on my shoulder. A cold grasp, squeezing tightly. Saying I stay silent, unsure how to react, or even I could react. The person behind me didn't move or speak. It felt like it was waiting for me to do something. But when the next few moments passed by, and then the next, I heard a quiet sigh, and the hand on my shoulder slowly turned me around. You have a fascinating method of self-preservation, or perhaps more accurately, a lack thereof. Oh, it's Marcus. There stood Marcus, his pale eyes shining brightly. Phew, I'm just glad. Was that really necessary? Well, of course it was. Everything I do is for some purpose or another, although many times I don't figure out that purpose until much later. Turning away from me slightly, Marcus lowered his gaze to the gory mass of flesh that was once Shari's agent. I saw a keen interest in his eyes, almost fascination, not the look you usually observe a mangled corpse with. I gather the Red Queen sends you here. She will applaud your investigation skills, no doubt. Tell me, what do you believe happened to this unfortunate soul? She ran on some twisted cycle inside the killer, someone was chasing her and caught her. They cut her. It wasn't just mindless killing. One would be inclined to think so, indeed. A message, or perhaps self-therapy of the most visceral kind. Ugh. God, I burp. Hands clasped behind his back, Marcus strolled towards the corpse, circling around it with an analytical light in his eyes. The bottom of his long coat swished in the discolored water, soaked and dripped, but he didn't seem to particularly mind. I suggest you tread very carefully around this matter, Max. There's a scent of formless malice in the air, a festering loathing that something created. Do not underestimate the wretched. I'll find out whoever did this and make sure they don't go in harm's way. Whatever you do is solely your decision, but I would hopefully you think before you do it. One wonders sometimes what justifies fit for this world. As Marcus' calm drawl echoed off the walls, putting me slightly more at ease. My body seemed to suddenly remember the stench around me, making it more difficult not to gag. It was an acrid smell of the agent's blood, chilling in my guts, even overpowering the scent of rotten flesh. As if sensing my thoughts, Marcus took a deep, long sniff of the air, his eyelids fluttering close. Okay, guys, I'm gonna stop here. And yeah, the investigation. I thought we were gonna find the girl alive. No, the girl's dead now. So we're gonna stop right here, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.